Hi, thank you for tuning in. This is the Go-To Guy Show. My name is Rick Cruz, and I'm the host. Today, I've invited a gentleman from the Ilocano Association of Michigan in,
Right.
and this is Mel, and he's going to answer some questions. We're going to find out a little bit about what's going on in your community and what's going on with your organization.
Okay.
Mel, let me ask you some questions here. Tell me a little bit more about the Ilocano Association of Michigan.
Okay. Thanks, Rick, for having me.
Thank you.
I would like to start with the what's happening in the Philippines right now before I go to the organization,
Okay.
because there's a massive flood just going on in the
Oh,
Philippines, and we'd like to extend, our condolences to the people who lost their lives and well wishes to those who survived this big storm. So, in behalf of the organization IAM and the Filipino American community, we're extending our, for those people in the Philippines. So,
okay. Are there any special things that that can be done? Are there organizations out there that are helping the people in the Philippines?
there might be, but I'm not aware here in Michigan
Okay.
that there's, if there is something that's being programmed for that. But I was watching, TV, and the president was going around and assessing the damages. And I think it's the typhoon Corina is already out of the country.
Uh-huh.
And so, but of course, it's a big flood. So, rehab and I don't know what's going on now. And then so that's a big job for the government to put
So one of
together.
the
And
things that people might want to do is call home and find out if there's any organizations or whatever help they can do.
that's correct.
But
Because
then,
like the big storm we had years ago, the Ondoy,
mm-hmm.
the Filipino community here in Michigan, we contributed like $100,000 for that.
Uh-huh.
And so we had a massive fundraising around. Different organizations contributed to that, plus, of course, some fundraising. So
Mm-hmm.
at that time, there was like $100,000 that's been helped those in Ondoy, the big one in Tacloban City. That was years ago.
Okay.
But this time, just because it's just the other day, I think just this week, that's happened.
Uh-huh.
So maybe people are, preparing to do something about it.
Okay. Well, thank you. So we're asking everybody out there as you're seeing as you're hearing this program that you would go out if you're related to the Philippine community or something like that or know somebody, maybe let them know. Sometimes
Yes.
the news doesn't always get to everybody and
Mhm.
everything. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
all right. So Mel, tell me a little bit more about your organization and just maybe a little bit of the history.
Okay. Okay. I immigrated to the States in 1972.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I stayed in Seattle for 1 year.
Mm-hmm.
I worked there and then got married and then, moved to the Detroit area.
Uh-huh.
So in 1973, I was able to meet some of those old folks, old
Uh-huh.
Filipino people who came over during the hard times like the Depression area. So I talked to them and they told me stories about how they live, how they take care of themselves, how they live together. And so it inspired me to start this organization. So
Mm-hmm.
in 1975, I had this IAM, which is the Ilocano Association of
Uh-huh.
Michigan. It started with few friends, of course, and then it took me 10 years to to campaign for this and sign some membership.
Uh-huh.
So it is because at that time, as you know, in 1972, there was a martial law in the Philippines.
Mm-hmm.
So people doesn't, they thought that this organization is for the Philippines, but it's not. It was like I said, I was inspired by the people who came over here, the old people. So I started this, and for 10 years I was the interim president.
Uh-huh.
And in 1985, we had an election,
Uh-huh.
through election, which is, like this present setup now.
Mm-hmm. With the current board structure and
Right,
everything like
right, right. So
Okay.
we had the executive, officers and the board of directors. So yeah, it became one of the biggest organizations around Detroit at that time in 1975. So that's how it started.
that. Now, what's its mission today? I mean, what is its primary mission? I know that you're in Ilocos Norte province,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
And is that since is that where mainly your organization is focused, or does it encompass the entire Philippines?
Oh no, no, it's just entirely Philippines.
Okay.
Wherever there's a disaster or whatever, things. So if we have the resources, we always participate in that. As a matter of fact, we support these medical missions
Okay.
that's being done in the Philippines every year by different organizations like the PMA and other organizations. We support that.
Okay.
Plus, of course, the community here, PACCM, like you know.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we support all of those.
Yeah. The PACCM is the Filipino American.
Community center.
Yeah,
And the Pilamco, too.
Yeah, Philamco, and
Yeah.
that's what does Philamco stand for?
Yeah. Well, Filipino American Community Council.
Okay,
Yeah.
council.
Yeah.
All right. And going back to the PACCM, that's now it's located now in Southfield, right?
Yes, correct.
Southfield. They moved off of Lasher Road. Let's see, what is it? 23800 Lasher.
Yeah.
And that's in Southfield, Michigan.
Yeah.
So, going to the organization, I noticed you had a picnic here recently.
Yes.
That was like a fundraiser, or not a fundraiser, but a membership drive.
Membership drive, and to know some people who didn't attend last time, so we invite only the Ilocano, not all the Ilocanos, it's for everybody. So
Now, how many people did you have at that? I attended sort of briefly, but I mean, it was like a pretty huge crowd.
I would say maybe more than 100 people, maybe.
Yeah, and it looked like
Yeah.
everybody's having fun.
Oh yeah, we have the lechon, and so we had a lot of food.
Now, do you do that every year? Or
Yes, we do.
Okay.
Yes,
and
we
what
do.
are some of the other events that you do every year?
Aside from that picnic, like this coming fundraising, which is the
The Hawaiian night?
Hawaiian night.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then maybe last year we already had the New Year's Eve party, and aside from that, sometimes we officers get together and have dinner and
Yeah.
stuff like
So you
that.
guys, how often you guys have board meetings on regular basis? Or?
Yes, we do. As a matter of fact, the president called me and said that he's trying to schedule, a board meeting on September, I think, or before the party, actually.
Now, your organization with the groups, do they sort of meet sometimes, spontaneously, or you guys just pretty much interact with other organizations?
Oh, yeah. It depends upon the situation. Sometimes the president would call for special meetings, and so we also join the other groups, like the Kiwanis. I'm a member of the Kiwanis too. So lots of.
So there's a lot of other interaction with other organizations.
Oh yes.
And if you're members of your organization, are probably members of other organizations throughout the community.
Yes.
So you sort of share events and meet each other and things like that.
Oh yeah. Like the picnic, there are lots of officers of PACCM who came. So we don't do it exclusively for the Ilocanos, for everybody.
Now, do you guys do anything for kids, or do
Well, before we had this senior citizens, program. Recently, we don't have for the kids yet, but I think it's being programmed for that too.
I know a lot of things now. I guess when you look back at the growth in the area, like from what I understand, there's like about 23,000 Filipinos in the general Michigan area.
Yeah.
That's a lot of Filipinos.
Yes.
And but I guess, have you seen what changes have you seen in the past in the area of the Filipinos coming and getting involved?
We're glad that the some students from U of M and these other I think Wayne State University, something like that. They participated now with the different organizations. So that was good because we're getting older.
Uh-huh.
We started this organization a long time ago, and we're getting older. So we're trying to, involve the younger kids, especially students, to
Mm-hmm.
maybe take over someday. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's probably sometimes it's a challenge with the younger
Oh
generation.
yes,
It's like,
yes. You really, really,
how do you
because
get them involved? It's
they're born here,
uh-huh.
and of course they have different outlook. If
And
you're
society and culture's changed a lot
that's
too.
that's correct. Yes,
I think,
yes.
tell me about, a little bit about the culture in the Philippine Islands. I think a lot of times, my dad was from the Philippines, and it was from the Manila area.
Okay.
And I'm sitting down trying to find out more about my heritage because basically that's how I got involved with the Filipino organization, because I went and took a DNA test, and my dad had
Oh.
always told me, he said, "Oh, your grandfather was Spanish, and your grandmother was Filipino. She was a music teacher, right?"
Okay. Yeah.
So I took the DNA test, and I found out. Oh, I shouldn't say this, but Grandma must have been messing around, because I found out that I'm Filipino, 1/4 or 1/2 Filipino. So I don't know what happened on the grandpa's side. But, that was during the war, I think, too, because
Yeah.
I guess my original father, my grandfather, was killed by the Japanese.
Okay.
So, I mean, there's a little bit of history there that I'm trying to figure out.
Mm-hmm.
But what I'd like to do is we'll take a break here for a minute. When we come back, I'd like to get to know a little bit more about your history growing up and in the community that you came into. So, all right, with that, we'll take a break, and we'll be right back.
All right.
All right, let's see. Welcome back. This is Rick Cruz again with Mel Gambalan.
Yes. Yeah.
Gambalan?
Gambalan. Yes.
Okay, and we're going to talk right now. Just tell me some of the things. When you were growing up, you came from Ilocos Norte.
Norte, that's the province,
Uh-huh.
and Batak City is the town that I came from.
Mm-hmm.
And so, I grew up there. I started my elementary school and high school in Batak
Uh-huh.
City. And then after that, I went to Manila, which is the capital and all the Philippines. And I started my education at the Mapua Institute of Technology.
Uh-huh.
And I also attended National University, where I had my review for the board exam after I finished my civil engineering degree.
Uh-huh. Now, I guess it's really interesting to sit down and think about it. But now, Batak City is in the northern west side, northwest. the Philippine
Actually,
Islands?
east side.
East side?
Yeah, right. East
Okay.
side. Yeah.
Yeah. So I
Because
need.
we are bounded by the Sierra Madre Mountain, so
Uh-huh.
it's the west, and
Okay.
something like that. Yeah.
I wish I had a map to sit down and put it in
Okay.
perspective. I mean, I'm still trying to learn that. I never realized how large the area of the Philippine Islands is.
Oh yeah, it's big.
It's
you know,
huge.
it's-
I was sitting there scanning through and trying to find a map, and I was sitting there thinking, man, it's all over.
yeah, it's so small on the map. If you compare that Philippine map to other countries,
Oh,
it's
yeah.
just tiny.
Yeah,
But I mean, there are 7,000, more than 7,000 islands, and so I think the difficulty then was the language barrier because every island has their own dialects.
Uh-huh.
But I came from one of the biggest section of the Philippines, which is the northern part,
Uh-huh.
because the Philippines like the uh, Visayas and Mindanao and northern Luzon. So I came from there.
Okay.
So we have different dialects, and so the Ilocano actually is a dialect,
Mm-hmm.
but we call ourselves Ilocanos too,
Uh-huh.
because we came from the north, and so that.
So even though you have that specific dialect, when you go to different provinces, is it difficult? I mean, there's probably some different variations in the.
Not only variations, but if you go to the Visayas,
Uh-huh.
you cannot understand. So
You can't understand?
Totally different dialects,
Uh-huh.
because it was the problem then is because different islands and there was no infrastructure, between islands. So, but now we already have, I think, roads and bridges that connects these different islands. So it's well traveled now, I think, the country. So, and especially, of course, the national language is Tagalog.
Uh-huh.
So, but their dialects is different from us.
Okay. But the national language is Tagalog.
Yes, that's
All right.
correct.
So if you learn Tagalog, you would probably be able to at least go and understand some things or
Yeah.
some communication.
Oh yeah, yeah. Plus, of course, the medium of teaching, of course, is English.
Okay.
So from from elementary, so people speak English
Okay. So
or understand English.
they understand English. So if you go there, you're not going to be totally lost or
Oh no,
totally
no.
out there. So
Yeah.
so tell me a little bit about your journey here to the United States, how you got here, and your family. And I know you worked at General Motors.
Yes, yes.
As a, you want to tell me a little bit more about your experience with General Motors?
Oh, okay. Well, I was a design engineer. They call it DE,
Uh-huh.
design engineer. So that's my position over there until I retired.
Uh-huh.
I spent 27 and a half years at GM, and I retired in 2004.
Uh-huh.
So that was 20 years ago.
Wow. You're doing pretty good for 20 years retired. A lot of people don't get that far.
Oh, yeah.
And you're pretty much good. You golf a lot, I understand. And,
Yeah. I joined golf when I was, I don't know, 45 years old when the kids are growing, because, when you have small kids, then you have to run around, drive them all over the place. And then so, I was involved now that's my passion now.
So what do you think about, what do you think, you look at the family structure of the Philippine Islands, all right, and when you were growing up, and has it probably changed quite a bit as to the difference between the family structure there versus the family structure here?
Of course, yeah.
Yeah, now-
It's family oriented over there. As
Okay.
a matter of fact, families live in one house.
Mm-hmm.
And so the relationship between families is really more than over here.
Now, I guess, the big thing is looking in the future and trying to figure out, how to bring the younger generation. I mean, the heritage there is like what, my father passed away when I was in my senior year of high school.
Okay.
And I never had a lot of exposure. But I guess, how do we bring how do we bring the kids to understand their culture today? What are some of the things that you can think about? Like you look at your children, they've grown up. What kind of things would you
Well,
do? Or,
yeah, we involve them in some of these activities that we have, but it's hard for them because they're much influenced with this culture.
Mm-hmm.
So, but as we are as older who came from the Philippines, we maintain all those customs and heritages, dancing and dance and
Yeah.
songs and stuff like that. So,
Now I noticed that, like the PACCM, they have a school.
yes,
All right. And that's on what, Sundays through the school year.
yeah,
That sort of brings the culture in with the dancing and things like that. And
right,
I know that I guess, but getting the kids involved, the younger generation. You mentioned bringing the college students in.
mm-hmm.
Are you seeing? Are there big organizations that are out there that are Filipino in these schools?
Yeah, I think UMM has a big Filipino organization over there.
Mm-hmm.
Can't remember the name, but I think there's an organization over there.
Yeah. So I'm
Uh,
going to try to do is I'm going to try to find more information and maybe get some of them involved.
yeah,
And,
sure, sure.
and if that would help you guys,
Mhm.
I think that would be a benefit. But also, I guess, looking at exposing the community to a lot of times people don't understand the Filipino community.
Mhm.
I know that as far as religion, is a lot of the Filipinos are Catholic. Is
Yes,
that, or is there,
that's correct. Yeah,
you know? But we're probably seeing that they come here and maybe they get into other religious organizations. But
I don't know. I don't think so. Because my kids, we always, bring them to church,
Mhm.
and they were Baptist over there,
mm-hmm,
and as a matter of fact, my had a confirmation last April.
uh-huh,
My middle grandson. That's why we came back. We were in the Philippines at that time, but we had to come back for him.
uh-huh,
And so I think all the kids, Filipino kids, are, Catholic because of their parents were trying to, involve them in, his Catholic
Yeah.
upbringings.
So, I guess the big thing is what do you have planned for the future? I mean, what are you guys looking to do with your organization or with yourself? I mean, what are some of your plans?
Oh, we're trying to involve younger kids because, like, I'm a founder for this organization since 1975. And
Uh-huh.
that's about 43 years ago. And so
Uh-huh.
now we'd like to spend more time in the Philippines.
Yeah.
So at the present time, the elected president and the other vice president are younger. They are in the 60s, so they will probably continue more. And we encourage younger kids also to be
What I did is
involved.
I put my email address down there, and I think that it would be nice if people have suggestions and they see that, if they would send me an email,
Okay.
and if I could pass that on, just because I think right now we need to figure out some way to get people to communicate.
Yeah.
And communication, I think nowadays we're in the electronic age, and like the Ilocano Association of Michigan, they have Facebook,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. I
So
think
there's that option there.
yeah,
Do they
yeah.
have a website?
I think they do.
Okay.
Yeah.
But I think the big thing is trying to figure out ways to get in touch with the community and to let others know if they've got suggestions or something like that
Yeah.
you're accessible through the internet.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
And it's
If you go to your Facebook, you could see the organization, the Ilocano Association of Michigan. You click that thing, and it will show you all the things
other things
that's
like
happening.
that. A long time ago when I was trying to research the Filipino community, it was kind of interesting because everybody said, go to Facebook. But if I don't know the organization's name, how do I know which one? It's like,
Yeah.
I just happened to find the PACCM and, found it, and then that branched out.
Yeah. Yeah. Yes,
So,
yes.
but the big thing is that people have suggestions on how to get kids involved. Especially today. I know when I was growing up, we had all kinds of different things here, but we're going away from that. We're going away from the family, and we're going away from some of the what do you call them? well, we're going away from the family. Everybody's got their. I was sitting there the other day, and I was watching people sitting there texting each other, and you're right next to each other. And I said, "What in the world is this?" But this is the way we do things now here. New ideas. But I know we used to have junior achievement.
Oh, okay.
And I think that
Good.
there's a Filipino Chamber of Commerce out there that I don't think a lot of people are aware of. But your organization.
We have right now the Philippine Chamber of Commerce.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which is, I think, Betsy, if you know Betsy.
Yeah, I know
think.
Betsy.
Yeah, I think.
So
she
I'd
was
like
the
to get
president.
her on the show and stuff like that, so she
Okay.
could tell a little bit more about her group. But
Yeah.
the thing that I really admired about your group is the closeness and the commitment that you guys had. I wish I would have been able to take a picture
Oh, yeah.
of everybody
You should
out
have.
there. It's like
You should have.
I'm not much. I'm not much of a gatherer of people. So
Oh.
I'm sort of like the guy. I can talk here on camera. I can sit down and do this, but when you get around people, I'm just sort of not used to crowds. So, but you guys have very hospitable. You guys are very
Thanks.
hospitable.
Thank you.
And offering food and things like that. So,
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I hope that people will sit down and take advantage of this program and get to know and search out some more of the things, and hopefully shortly I'll be able to get more Filipinos involved and trying to get more of the organizations. And it's not only related to Filipinos, because there are people that are not Filipino, all right, that are married to Filipinos. And we're in a culture now where there's a lot of mixture of Americans and Filipinos. And I think that, the nice thing about it is if the Filipinos can hold to their heritage, which is very family, and that sort of enhances relationships, period. So.
Yeah. Well, thank you for starting me with this, and
Well-
hopefully you could, get the other organizations involved in what you're doing. So we're really grateful to.
Mel, it was a pleasure for me to do this for you, because you've been here since 1975.
Yes.
And that is a lifetime dedication. So
Yeah,
you got to
yes,
be
yes.
commended for
Oh,
doing
thank you.
this. And I'm
Yeah, we have great people. We have different involved in this organization that we could rely on.
Yeah.
So, with the 43 years that we're in existence, that's something that we are proud of to have it.
Well, I'm pretty sure, I'm praying that God will bless you with maybe another 43 years, but I don't know if you want to be 100 and some odd years old.
I'm 80 years old.
But they might clone you. It's like you can start over again with new technology. But Mel, thank you very much for coming on the show and everything.
Thank
I
you.
greatly
Thank you.
appreciate it. And
Thank you, Rick.
I just I wish the best for the organization. My name is Rick Cruz, and it puts us at the end of this program. Thank you for tuning in, and I hope to be able to produce some more programs with different topics. And if, any other Filipino organizations, I want to invite you to,
Okay.
sit down and feel free, and I hope
I'll spread the word.
you'll spread the
I'm gonna
word.
spread the
Okay?
word.
All right. Mel, you have a great day. Have a great month, guys, and you just take care, and hope to hear from you guys soon, and take care. Bye-bye.
Rick, thank you. Thank you.